Hey, sorry, I'm thinking about where I'm going. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie. It is August 25th. It is a Thursday, 2022. And this morning I want to talk about not being responsible for somebody else's choices, right? Their actions. Now, I try to talk about stuff that I've experienced, things that happen that are real stuff, because for me to do this, if my primary objective is to encourage and motivate my kids and then other young people, and other people, friends, family, and just people in general, hopefully impart a little bit of positivity, some encouragement, something that might help them to be better, to do better. I mean, that is my objective. And I generally talk about stocks, options, cryptocurrencies, and real estate, which is something that really changed my life for the most part. And then self-investment is something I kind of wanted to promote more, because I've met a lot of wealthy people, billionaires, millionaires, lots of millionaires, only a couple billionaires, and I'm not friends with these guys. I don't call them like, hey, what's up? But but I've met a lot of very successful people, and some of them are very miserable. Some of them, as much power as they have financially, they are bankrupt when it comes to, family, spiritually, just how they feel about themselves. Even I remember talking to a millionaire one time at a penthouse in Providence. I think it was the Westin. It was either the Biltmore or the Westin. It was a long time ago. But the guy used to walk around with 10 grand cash, and this was 20 years ago. His name was Franco, is what we called him. I don't even remember his last name. I remember what he looked like. He's a big guy. He used to come to all of our events that Giovanni and I used to do, and hang out. And he's probably my age, actually. At the time, I was in my 20s, and he was in his, I'd say, 40s, probably easily in his 40s, maybe even 50s, but I think 40s. But anyway, Franco invited me to his a penthouse party in Providence, Rhode Island, either the Westin Hotel or the Biltmore, which they're both, I believe, still there. He had the whole presidential suite, right? He had this presidential suite on the top floor. And I went in there, and it was just chaos, right? There was drugs and alcohol and, paranoia and all this stuff. And people, they weren't his friends. They were just using him, and he was using them, to try to deal with some of the stuff he was going through. But money was not a problem for this guy. I remember sitting down with him, and he started crying, and he told me he felt like jumping out of the top of the building. I was like, well, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what's wrong with you? And he held up a picture of his two sons. They were like young, very young. I would say toddlers, maybe the picture. I think they were either twins, maybe, or just not very far apart, but they were very young. They were probably in their 4 to 6 years old is what I remember. And I didn't have kids at the time, and I hadn't figured out a lot of things myself, but I thought it was strange that here's a guy who had all the money I wish I had, and he was miserable. He was depressed. He was suicidal to some extent. I mean, I don't know what became of Franco, but when I asked, why do you feel that way? He goes, because I'd give anything to have my family back, is what he said. And I don't know what he did wrong. I don't know where he went wrong. I don't know what happened. I saw the lifestyle. I can remember the lifestyle he was living, which was drugs and alcohol, and but he owned nightclubs and restaurants, and I guess, and different things. I never got that close to him, but he was a constant fixture in our events, and I think it was because he was trying to fill a hole. So I remember him because there's been times throughout life, from my 20s to 40s, where I've experienced different things, and there's people that you come across that do things. Some are unexpected, some are expected, and then you're disappointed. And some are people that you love and care about that do things that don't make sense. Could be a friend, a family member, a child, a sibling, a parent. I don't know, wherever it might be. And none of us are perfect, right? And here's the problem with, in my opinion, of having expectations where we think this person is doing this thing and it's affecting me so much, okay? You could have someone in your life that you love and care about, all right? Or you could have a coworker that you think has tremendous potential to be successful in what they do. You might be an athlete, right? Or somebody who is a coach, or somebody who recognizes potential for someone who has natural ability. It could be basketball, it could be wrestling, it could be fencing, it could be swimming, whatever the sport, football, soccer. And they're like, well, man, this person has tremendous natural ability or talent. Singer, actor, fill in the blank. But they just can't seem to overcome certain demons, right, so to speak. They can't seem to do the things that they should be doing. And again, I am guilty of this myself. I have done this many, many times. And then when you do it, and you do recognize it, when other people are doing it, it's just like, you feel bad because you're like, oh man, you're making those same mistakes that I made, and you could save yourself so much pain if you just avoid that and listen to me. And I'm not telling you because I just want to be right. It's because I know if you go down that road, where that road will take you. And it's a long, painful road sometimes. So my encouragement this morning is not about what stock you should buy or what I'm buying. It's not about what cryptocurrency is going up and down and what the market's doing. It's not about what real estate property, whether it's apartments or condos or duplexes or flipping single family houses. I mean, I have a lot of stuff I could share, but this morning, I just felt compelled to say that as I've gone through a couple of things with some people that I know and care about, it's not my responsibility or yours to make someone else's decisions or to make somebody else feel a certain way. If somebody wants to make a choice, right, to follow through with something that you don't agree with, that you think, hey, this is not going to be helpful to you. I don't think this is the best decision. They may not care. They may not be interested in your opinion. They may not, just like this video, you can stop at any time. You can, turn it off, whatever. But sometimes people tune you out when you're talking to them. You're trying to help them from your heart. You're trying to give them some good advice, lead them down the right path, and they just don't seem to listen. Now, they might hear you, and they may give you an appearance that they don't care, that what you're saying is not getting through. But I still think it's worth it. I think it's still worth the effort, because when I was younger, and I got lots of trouble when I was a young person for different reasons, which is another topic someday. I mean, my grandfather, for example, never gave up on me. He always was encouraging, always was there for me. He was always positive, and to a fault in some regards. He should have been a little harder on me in certain things, but he was like my dad. But because of him, a lot of the good that flourished and came out was because somebody believed in me. Somebody loved me, and that made a big difference as I developed and got older in life experience. So if it's your child, if your kid is giving you a hard time, right, whether they're young or older, I'm giving you one example. It's your responsibility to be a parent and to do your best to guide them and protect them and provide for them, right? And they're going to get older and go on their own. But you're not going to be there every minute to make their choices. They're going to make decisions, and maybe your voice will echo in their ear. And if you read the Bible, if you're a Christian, just like God's voice kind of quietly says, hey, that's not the right thing to do. And you can make a choice. You got a free will to choose. And if it's your partner, if you have a husband or wife that makes some choices that you don't agree with, or if they feel a certain way, if he or she doesn't feel good, no matter what you do, then, I mean, you're not responsible for how they feel, right? Like they have to be happy for themselves. If you have a coworker, whether they work for you, with you, or you work for them, and they're always angry and upset and emotional and reactive and, showing up late, right? Or not following through in certain things, or not telling you, being honest. It doesn't mean they're bad people, okay? It means they're making bad choices. It doesn't mean they're not. Don't underestimate them. They may have amazing potential in any of these categories. Relationship, children, co-workers, people that you work with. But you're not responsible for their actions, okay? You got to be consistent and stay the same in your convictions and what you do. And hopefully maybe it will make some type of impact at some point. They'll get to a place where they'll go, oh, maybe I should be doing this. Or maybe they'll find that holy grail of the happiness, or maybe they'll find that the thing they thought that they were chasing is really not worth the chase. Okay. Especially, I know people that I've lost, friends and family, drugs, alcohol, mostly drugs, that they were chasing the high, they were chasing this feeling, and you try to talk to them, but they just kept going that way, and it may really impact you and how you feel. Like, oh, I should have did more, I could have helped him or her, but they end up where they end up, unfortunately. But that is their choice, and you can't make them not do that thing, whatever that thing is. You can't make them not do the thing or do the thing, right? You can't, and it shouldn't affect your life and how you feel, because it's very disruptive. It can be very distracting to getting other things accomplished, because you're consumed with what those other people in your life that are close to you. Because if they're just acquaintances or people that you barely know, you probably never know what they're doing, right? But if they're people that are closer to you, or that you interact with day in and day out, it has more of an impact on your own life, in my opinion. So at that point, for me, what I try to do is focus on me and what I can change. I can't, I don't want to be bogged down with things that are out of my control, right? And maybe that should be the topic, not being affected by things that are out of your control, something to that regard, because it will affect you, and how you sleep, if you're going to exercise, how you eat, because sometimes people get sad. I know I'm one of them. If I'm sad and depressed, I will eat crap. Like, I'll eat stuff, to try to deal with whatever I'm feeling, and it's not a good way to do it. Other people use drugs and alcohol, or do other stuff. Some people dive into work, and they work. Not that working's bad, I mean, by any means, but they work too much. They work 120 hours a week, 100 hours a week, and they just neglect everything else. And they're not working for the right reasons, to try to cure cancer, or come up with something to save their business. They're just working just to work, because they're trying to escape. That's what I mean. Like, they're escaping everything because they want to run away from whatever that thing is that they don't want to face. La 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 la, that type of thing. So don't be affected, in my opinion, by what other people are choosing to do, because it doesn't help you to move forward. It's going to drag you down. I'm not telling you to totally cut them out of your life, but let them go. Sometimes you got to just say, okay, well, I'm here for you if you need me, brother, sister, friend, family member, coworker. I'm here, and I'm going to stand my ground that this thing that you're doing, I don't agree with, and I'm not judging you, because I'm no one to judge you. I've made plenty of my own mistakes, but I personally don't agree with this thing, and I wouldn't be doing you any service or credit if I just told you what you want to hear, just to make you happy. I am not trying to make you happy. And I'm going to leave you with this little Bible verse that I read. I think it was 1 Peter. I want to say it's 5:8, could be 8:5. I'm not an expert, but it was just saying that that don't be consumed. Don't be consumed with no, not don't be consumed, but to be careful, right? Because the devil, right, and you can have your own interpretation, is like a lion, roaming around seeking whom he can devour, right? And there's more to it. So I read the Bible to try to spiritually feed the spiritual guy, right? And I'm not a theologian or able to quote all those scriptures, but like it stuck with me that the other day I was reading that and I thought, wow, like you got to be really vigilant and pay attention, because if you aren't, your enemy, right? And the Bible's saying the devil, and this can relate to other things in life. Like people are looking for you to be weak. They're looking for you to give up. They're looking for you to, make yourself vulnerable. And like a lion, the lion will eat you up, man. I mean, I would never want to face a lion. I have no shot of you could pretend, right? So unless God intervene or I had some weapon that would give me a massive edge over the lion. The lion is faster, he's stronger, he has sharp teeth, he's outweighs me by hundreds of pounds. It's just not an even match. So you have to be careful. You have to be vigilant. So don't take responsibility for the other person, okay? Focus on what you're doing. Keep going, and hopefully this other person will catch up. Hopefully they'll be encouraged by your consistency, and not you falling apart, right? Because these other people aren't doing what you want them to do. Expectations. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. We'll talk about some stock stuff. I'll see you later.